It is my pleasure to bring to you the 24th Annual Pinnacle Awards and Installation of Officers with our first host, Mr. the Honorable Ismail Monroy with Monroy Enterprises, LLC.
Welcome to the 24th Annual Pinnacle Awards and Installation of Officers. Due to the coronavirus, this year's event is being held virtually. These are challenging times for all of us. The Miramar-Pembroke Pines Regional Chamber of Commerce felt it was more important than ever to celebrate the accomplishments of several great individuals in our community, as well as acknowledging some of the great businesses that serve our area. So thank you for joining us today for this moment of celebration. Today's event would not be possible without our main sponsor, Calvin Giordano & Associates. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Nicholas Kenelidis, representing Calvin Giordano & Associates. Nicholas?
Thank you, Ismail. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Nico Canelitis. I'm a project manager in the engineering department here at Calvin Giordano Associates. Thank you so much for having me. CGA has been a partner in this community for over 15 years and has been working with the chamber throughout that time, working hand in hand, supporting our fellow business leaders. It's unfortunate that we can't be together this year to celebrate your accomplishments, but I'm happy we all are that we're here today continuing this tradition virtually. We look forward to this event every year because it honors and celebrates individuals and businesses leading and growing the community for tomorrow. Right now, more than ever, this is such an important message. We thank you for your strength and perseverance, and we look forward to celebrating your success the remaining year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you again, Calvin Giordano & Associates, for being today's main sponsor. It is my pleasure to introduce my co-host today. He's the president of CV Marketing and Falcon Foundation and serves as the chair of the Miramar-Pembroke Pines Regional Chamber of Commerce, the Scholarship Foundation that gives out funds to children across the community. Here to assist me in emceeing this year's Pinnacle Awards, please welcome our chamber's immediate past chair, Mr. Henry Rose.
Thank you, Ishmael, for the introduction. As usual, you're ad-libbing it because I'm trying to follow the script. And you're just going off, which is fine. You're much better at this than me. You even wore a tie for the occasion. Thank you. I put on a dress shirt. That's as much as I could manage, so thank you. The Chamber would also like to thank the City of Miramar and Waste Pro Florida for also sponsoring today's events like they have done many times in the past. Typically, we would introduce all of our dignitaries in attendance, but being in a virtual state is a little different. So instead, we would like to thank these partner organizations and their elected officials and representatives today. First, the City of Pembroke Pines. Again, the City of Miramar, one of our sponsors for today, Broward County, the State of Florida, the Florida Chamber of Commerce, the Florida Association of Chambers, and the Western Association of Chamber Executives. Thank you all for participating today and being there for us during this difficult time. The Miramar-Pembroke Pines Regional Chamber of Commerce has been in existence for over 50 years. Over those years, the organization has gone through many changes and challenges. 2020 has not disappointed in being one of those challenging years, with the pandemic, social uprising, and now entering an election cycle like no other. These can definitely be considered some of the most challenging times. Through this, however, the Miramar-Pembroke Pines Regional Chamber of Commerce is standing strong through the leadership of our board of directors. It is now my pleasure to introduce the chair of the board of directors, my friend, Ms. Leah Carpenter, the CEO of Memorial Hospital West. Leah?
Thank you, Henry, and good afternoon, everyone. I cannot tell you how excited we are to be able to, under very different circumstances, continue to have our Pinnacle Awards and installation ceremony. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I thank you all for joining us this afternoon for this virtual 2020 Pinnacle Awards and installation. You will recall that last year, we as a board committed to you that the focus of our board would be on stabilization of all areas where we've grown and enhancing our services wherever possible. So before we get to the business of presenting awards and installing officers, I hope that you'll indulge me as I share a few of the highlights that our board and your chamber members have accomplished in spite of the challenges related to the global pandemic we've all come to know as COVID-19. Our scholarship committee, under the leadership of the one and only Henry Rose, raised and awarded $11,000 in scholarships to 9 very deserving local high school students. Our governance committee, under the leadership of James Knapp, revamped and implemented board of director policies and responsibilities to ensure that we serve you and our communities efficiently and effectively. Our membership committee, under the leadership of Patty Archer, has been able to tailor the organization to be more member-centric and receptive to the needs of our members. They have created marketing materials for all of our organizations and now are conducting monthly focus groups to assess our effectiveness at meeting the needs of our members. The full board developed succession plans and policies for future members of the board to ensure that the great legacy of our chamber continues its success well beyond our tenure. We successfully opened a physical location in the town of Weston, where we continue to support the businesses there. And in the midst of all our ambitious plans, the COVID-19 pandemic reared its ugly head. And we quickly adapted by providing personal protective equipment, also known as PPEs, to area nonprofit organizations and hospitals. We are becoming a great source of information and training on all issues related to COVID-19 to help support future viability of our member organizations. We're assisting members to get financial assistance through 5 different loans related to keeping their employees working. And we've assisted other organizations by educating and training them on all things related to COVID. And while I'm on the topic of COVID, I would be remiss and frankly irresponsible as a healthcare leader not to stress the importance of all business owners, large and small, to familiarize yourself with the Centers for Disease Control, CDC guidelines, and strictly adhere to those recommendations. Based on the numbers that I review multiple times a day, the trends we're seeing nationally, state and county-wide, as well as locally and within our own healthcare system, I implore upon you all to strictly adhere to expectations related to masking, hand washing, sanitizing your areas, screening of all your employees, and very importantly, social distancing. COVID-19 is not going to go away anytime soon. And I can assure you that its departure will be further delayed if each one of us individually and collectively do not do our part to stop its spread. So I'll get off my clinical soapbox and just assure you that the Chamber stands behind you and our community with strength and determination as indicated in our new mission statement, to work as a catalyst for business growth, a convener of leaders to implement positive change, and a champion for the communities that we serve. Again, I want to thank you all for coming. I hope you enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and please stay safe as I hand the program back over to our illustrious President and Chief Executive Officer, Robert Goltz.
Thank you, Leah. Let's see here. It is my pleasure to introduce to all of you our board of directors. As a nonprofit, the Chamber is governed by a board of directors. They commit to be responsible for the Chamber. Just as many of you own your own businesses, they are the ownership of the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is a business like all others and faces the same types of goals, challenges, and successes as any other business. They are men and women from all ranges of experience, diversity, sizes of businesses. But one thing they have in common is their passion to serve the business community through the Chamber. It is my pleasure to introduce first the officers of the Miramar Pembroke Pines Chamber of Commerce, starting off with who you already, no introduction is really needed, but our chair, Ms. Leah Carpenter from Memorial Hospital West, our chair-elect, Vice Chair of Governance, Mr. James Knapp from the Cushman School, Vice Chair of Finance, the Honorable Ismail Monroig, Monroig Enterprises LLC, the Vice Chair of Membership and External Relations, Patricia Archer, R&D Systems Group, Immediate Past Chair, Mr. Henry A. Rose, CV Marketing and the Falcon Foundation. Other members of our Board of Directors, Annette Alvarez with the Shops of Pembroke Gardens, Mr. Mark Liebeskin with Principal Financial Group, Tony Gordon with Amco Transmission, Ivan Salias with Keller Williams Realty, Stephen Sardui with Indemnity Security Investigations, Jessica Busquedes with Cleveland Clinic, Stan Bostic with Rick Case Automotive, Michael Stam from the City of Pembroke Pines, and Anita Fain Taylor with the City of Miramar. It is my pleasure again to introduce and bring back to the podium Mr. Ismail Monroy. Ismail?
He's on mute.
He needs to unmute himself. There he goes.
Thank you, Robert. I couldn't unmute because you have the control and power that is the Zoom dashboard. But thank you, Robert, for introducing the board of directors. I truly appreciate your efforts today. And I can personally speak to the dedication that these individuals have, not only to our businesses, but to the local communities we serve as a chamber. We are up to the challenges that are ahead of us, and with Ms. Carpenter leading us, we will continue to be there as a catalyst for our business growth, a convener of leaders, and a champion for those communities which we serve. Today, we are honored to have with us a guest representing the Florida Chamber of Commerce. The Florida Chamber is one of the leading organizations and partners in the great state of Florida. It is my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker today, Dr. Jerry Parrish. For those who may not know him yet, Dr. Parrish is the Chief Economist and the Director of Research for the Florida Chamber Foundation. In that role, he is responsible for conducting in-depth analysis on the Florida economy and on solutions to help secure Florida's future. His previous roles include service as the Chief Economist and Director of the Center for Competitive Florida at Florida Tax Watch, as well as the Associate Director of the Center of Economic Forecasting Analysis at Florida State University. In addition to these great positions, he's also held many years of experience in the private sector in management roles at international manufacturing companies. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Jerry Parrish.
Thank you, Ismail. Well, I'm glad to be with all of y'all today. I'm going to speak about a couple things. One, how COVID has affected the Florida economy, and answer a couple of the questions that I keep getting. I'm going to try to share some slides with you here, and I'll pull those up real quickly and talk about where you can find information. One of the things we have at the Florida Chamber Foundation is our Florida Scorecard. You can see that at thefloridascorecard.org. It's got lots of information. We've added some COVID-19 tiles. But I want to remind you about the economy a little bit before this COVID-19 thing started. Florida has a $1.1 trillion economy. And that's a surprise to a lot of people. But if Florida was an independent country, we'd be the 17th largest economy in the world. We were running about 900 net new people a day. About $1.19 million of adjusted gross income was moving into Florida every hour of every single day. And Florida created more than 1 out of every 11 jobs in the U.S. since 2015. This scorecard, lets you see where not only the state of Florida is, but also where your county is. And so I've shown Broward County here. There's a little drop-down box on the top right that you can choose any county and see the data for that. You can also see education data. You see the gray bar across the top. That's the 6 pillars of the Florida economy. And another thing about the scorecard is you don't have to remember my name's Jerry. You don't have to even remember where I work. If you go to the Florida Scorecard and you type in a message under Contact Us, it'll come directly to my inbox. So I encourage those of you who are looking at data, maybe need something explained, or just need some data for something that you're using, feel free to contact me. Now, every single day at the Florida Chamber, we send out an email that's got info like this on here. We're talking about the average daily COVID increases and all the totals. You can sign up at flchamber.com/coronavirus. And so you can get your information either from the Florida Scorecard or from the daily email. And it's got info on there. And you notice, if you've been watching this for a while, the average daily cases are going up around the state. Certainly that's true. But I want to talk about one thing and kind of compare the population to the number of cases and hospitalizations and other things. So I've put together a four slide series here. This is the population, divided by age group. So you can see 12.0% of our population is in the 15 to 24 age range. When we look at the COVID cases, and certainly this has changed over the last couple of weeks, a lot more young people, higher percentage of young people have tested positive as far as the percent of people that have tested positive in the whole population than there are even in that population range. And you've probably heard about this on the news. When we add in the number of hospitalizations, you can see what it looks like here. This is skewing a little older, probably no surprise. Younger people are typically healthier. They're less susceptible to be hospitalized. And remember, this is cumulative. This is a cumulative number since the very first case that we got in Florida around 116 days or so ago. And I want to also show the deaths. And you can see that it's heavily skewed to the older population. Shouldn't be any surprise to anybody. I calculated this, 52.8% of the deaths in Florida have come from either staff or residents of long-term care homes in Florida. No big surprise. It's people with typically health issues or older people that are actually the ones dying from this. And I tell you this not to say that this is not dangerous, and this is something that we all should work for every day to contain this and to knock down the numbers. It absolutely should. But I want to talk about what the effect has been on the economy. I want to show you the job creation in Florida. This is during that period when Florida was creating more than 1 out of every 11 jobs in the state, 2011 through 2020. You can see this is the non-farm seasonally adjusted series. That little spike down in September of 2017 is Hurricane Irma time when we lost a lot of jobs during 1 month, but we gained them all back the next month. But they did show up in the jobs report. February 2020, we peaked at 9.07 million in this job series, and we dropped all the way down in April. We're back up a little bit in the May jobs numbers that we just have, but you can see that we're almost 1 million jobs difference between where we were in February and where we were in May when we got these numbers. I want to show the categories that have been most affected. Now, this is a year-over-year look, so this is May 2019 to May 2020, total of 850,000 jobs. Leisure and hospitality, way more than half here. Matter of fact, 36.8% of the leisure and hospitality category was not working in May. And all those counties that have exposure to people from other states and other countries coming in to spend tourism dollars, I'll show you in a minute, were highly affected. What I think is interesting about this is, 2 of the categories I forecast to have the hardest time here, leisure and hospitality, and then retail. Retail is in that next category of trade, transportation, and utilities. Both wholesale and retail trade are the majority of this because we're not losing utilities jobs anywhere, either private or public sector jobs. You can see down there toward the bottom, we've actually had job creation and construction year over year. That may surprise some people. But what we've had is an acceleration of some projects, construction projects during this time where people were off the road, certainly I-4 Ultimate, other road construction projects. But it's also construction companies splitting their crews into first, second, and sometimes third shifts. And they're having to hire people to cover those shifts, spreading out the workers so they're not in such close contact so they can continue and get their contracts finished. Financial activities, small number, 2.7%. And you can see the other ones. Education and health services is a surprise to many because that's actually healthcare workers plus education. This is a Bureau of Labor Statistics category. That's why they're put together. We had during this time still dentist office closed and elective surgeries just beginning to start. That will come back pretty quickly, as well as those listed on the bottom, that haven't taken the biggest losses. They'll be some of the ones that come back the quickest. But it's not only industries coming back to 100% at different times, it's also going to be counties. So what I wanted to show you is the county unemployment rates as of May of 2020. you can see, I've listed the top 10 there for you. They're the counties that have the most exposure to people from other states and other countries. It's places where you have conventions, places where you have tourism, especially international tourists who stay longer and spend more. And you can see Broward there is at 16.0%, still above average, but it's not just leisure and hospitality. Fortunately, Floridians are picking up some of the slack that the international and other state visitors were, have dropped off. But it's Floridians going back out to eat and going and doing things around the state, which I appreciate. But so far, year over year, 850,400 jobs. That's a big number. And I'm going to talk about the recovery here in a second. You probably saw the governor sign the budget yesterday and do his vetoed $1 billion. This will probably explain some of it. Our net general revenue is a big deal for Florida. It's where we get money that we spend on schools, care, all kind of things that the legislature wants to spend money on. And you'll see up until March of this year, look at that bottom column, bottom row, year over and under. We are running a couple of $100 million ahead on general revenue collections. April killed that and made it negative, and then May was another negative number. So almost $1.5 billion of loss of net general revenue for the state of Florida. One more month for the fiscal year end. But this may explain some of the vetoes that happened, because we're going to end up being $2 billion, give or take, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. When we get the June collections, or when we get the May collections in June, and finish out our fiscal year. So, that doesn't bode well. However, some of the spending is coming back. But on the other side of that, we're no longer having $1,200 checks being sent to people. And then we're also not getting the supplement of the $600 that the federal government has been subsidizing after July the 31st. Now, the big question I always get is, when is Florida going to recover? I'm going to show you another economist forecast and talk to you about what I agree with and what I don't. This is a jobs forecast. Dr. Rajiv Dhawan runs the Economic Forecasting Center up at Georgia State. He's an award-winning economist, and I'm going to tell you, I agree with the shape of this curve. I've said for a couple of months now that the return to work is going to look like a Nike swoosh, and if you can superimpose one of those on your, in your mind, that really is the pattern. Now, will it take past 2023 to get all our jobs back? This is a U.S. forecast. It's not for Florida. I believe Florida is going to return quicker than the U.S. Certainly, we need, treatments available so people will, feel comfortable going out and traveling again. And then certainly when we get a vaccine and it's widely available, we'll head back toward 100% pretty quickly after that. I only want to show you a couple more slides here. I've asked our political group. I work for the Florida Chamber Foundation. We're a 501c3. We don't talk about politics and those kind of things. However, I do want to show you what the political folks asked me to show you was voter registrations. You can see on the left, this is the total of Florida's registered voters. You can see, Democrat 37%, Republican 35.3%, but NPA, or the other, listed as 27.29%. Now look at the May registered voters on the right. Substantially higher percentage of people registering as non-party affiliates, the NPAs. That's in the yellow. You can see how much bigger it is. That's a trend that's been going on in Florida for a while. And certainly the NPAs are very likely to overtake as the second highest category in this here in the next, probably in the next 2 to 3 years. Here is something that we're looking at. Also, what they want to remind you of, here's the ballot things that are coming up. You can see no U.S. Senate, but will be president, 27 congressmen, the state senators. You can see the one on the right, certainly important, the constitutional amendments. There are 5 of them. and you can talk to the chamber political folks a little more about that as far as what what the Florida Chamber's position is on any of those. I know we'll be sending out a lot more info on that. That's what I wanted to talk about, the economy. Just leave you with one last thing here. We watch this stuff pretty, every single day. As an economist, it's really my job to really look at this and see how we're recovering, how we're doing. I'm still bullish on Florida. Once again, we were creating 1 out of every 11 jobs in the country. I believe we're going to be back quicker than the average state for a couple of reasons. One is, Florida has been a place now over the past few years, businesses really look at Florida as a place to do business. In the old days, people would come here and be shocked that there was business because they heard it was all beaches and theme parks and things like that. Florida had a lot of momentum before this, and I really believe that we'll continue to see, we'll get back to that 900 net new people a day. We'll get back to businesses moving to Florida quicker than most places in the country. And, I really believe we had a fundamentally strong economy, not just in the U.S., but especially in Florida. And we get past this COVID-19 thing and get it to where there are treatments and then there is a vaccine. I'm really bullish on the state of Florida. Now, I do want to thank y'all for having me today. Congratulations on those of you who are winning awards today. Congratulations on that. It's good to be with you. And anytime you have questions, you can all feel free to contact me up here at the Florida Chamber Foundation. Thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you very much, Dr. Parrish. I've had the opportunity over probably the past decade or so to hear Dr. Parrish speak many times at Florida Chamber events in Tallahassee, in Orlando. This one was extra nice because I didn't have to pay a registration fee. But I have found over the past decade, as we've gone through many different things in the state of Florida across the country, 9 out of 10 times Dr. Parrish's predictions are absolutely right for the state of Florida. And I encourage all of you to bookmark the Florida scorecard on your computer or your mobile device. It is really, as you can see, some very simple to read information. When we were talking about who was going to speak today, I asked Robert to reach out to Dr. Parrish because I heard him speak so many times. And for those of us who are not economists or in the financial area, he really makes it easy for all of us to understand and how to apply it to our businesses and daily lives. So thank you very much, Dr. Parrish, for being with us today. Moving along to the actual awards themselves. You're about to meet some daring individuals, those who dare to take risks, go the extra mile, and roll up their sleeves to offer a hand. Our first category of awards are the Pinnacles. Success of any company is backed by a true leader and a lot of hard work. The Pinnacle Award recognizes the accomplishments of individuals who are commensurate servant leaders. They are engaged not only in the growth and development of their own business, but they also find time to give back to the community in a variety of ways. This award highlights the individual's professional achievements, contributions to the community, and involvement in the chamber. Let's meet this year's recipients. First, Jane Cabrera from Cabrera Coaching. Jane, are you muted? Let's see.
I'm ready. Thank you.
There you are.
Okay, Henry, thank you very much.
Okay.
Honored dignitaries, fellow chamber members, family and friends, good afternoon. It's an honor to be here today. I have to admit that when Robert reached out about a month ago and said, I need to speak to you right away, I actually rolled my eyes and breathed a heavy sigh and thought, oh Lord, what now? The Pinnacle Award was the last thing on my mind. Now, as you know, I am a coach, and I'm also the product of coaching. I've been heavily influenced by work that I've done with my own coaches. And the way I conduct myself as a business owner and as a leader have been heavily influenced. it's a true honor to have the community recognize that in this type of award as we are all here today. I first want to acknowledge Robert and the great job he has done with the Chamber. The Chamber has provided just an enormous amount of opportunities for the businesses to learn and grow and expand their platforms as business. And even in this crisis, we haven't missed a beat. Things have continued in an online digital format. And I really appreciate the great job that he has done keeping us all connected as a business community. I want to give a special thanks to my family and friends who are with me today. Most of them are out on Facebook Live. Some are right in the next room, and others are around the country and actually around the world. And they're here cheering me on, and I really appreciate that. I want to give a special acknowledgement to the Nexus Leads Group. I joined the Nexus Leads Group to build my coaching practice, and they've been a big part of my business development. And I could not escape an opportunity to recognize Toastmasters District 47. They've been also just a big part of my community. All of you together provide a lot of love and support, and you put up with my nonsense and shenanigans, which are ongoing, and I just appreciate and love you all for that. The thing that I've been hearing mostly from people recently is, I'm tired of everything. I want it to either go back to normal or I just want it to be over. And I understand how people feel. I want to leave you today with 3 ideas: resilience, goodwill, and now. We all have innate human resilience. Simply put, we all get upset from time to time, and we can get over ourselves. I encourage you to tap into your innate resilience. Goodwill is that warm feeling that comes when you care about others and you want the best for them. Cultivate that feeling. We can all use a little goodwill right now. And lastly, the only moment that really counts, the only moment that we have, is now. I want to encourage each and every one of you to do what's in front of you with resilience and goodwill, and connect with the moment, the only moment that counts, which is now. Henry, back to you.
Thank you, Jane, and congratulations. I do want to say, because we're doing this virtually, everyone's applauding if you can see that, Jane. I remember when I first met Jane a few years ago at the Chamber of Commerce breakfast, and we were having our annual out-of-town training thing, which unfortunately we can't probably have this year. We've been, over to the West Coast a couple of times, and it's been great. And I asked Jane to come be one of our speakers. And although I didn't know her that well at that time, I know that my selection was great because she gave a great presentation. It taught us a lot, kind of like she just did today in a very short speech. So thank you, Jane, and congratulations. Ishmael?
Congratulations once again to you, Jane. And now our next recipient with CareerSource Broward, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sandra Harley, excuse me. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. Thank you so much. I just want to tell you, thank you so much for this very special award. Thank you to the Miramar Pembroke Pines Chamber, and to you, especially Robert, for your leadership and for valuing my contribution to the organization and the community. I also want to thank the team of ambassadors that I have been honored to be a part of for the last 4 years. A group of very hardworking individuals who know how to have fun, but they also know how to show up for work when they're needed. I want to thank also CareerSource Broward, the company that has afforded me the leeway to participate and work with this dedicated and impactful organization and a group of like-minded professionals. I also want to thank my friends and family, some of them are here as well, for, again, putting up with me. And I must say that this award actually caught me off guard as I was not expecting it. I was just doing what I enjoy doing, and that is interacting with you all, meeting new people, creating relationships, and helping to make even a small part of your business life a little easier. So to be rewarded for this is really a double blessing. So I just want to say thank you once again. You know, I do appreciate it. Back to you, Ishmael.
Congratulations and virtual applause from everyone in the audience to you again, Sandra. Thank you so much for your hard work and your commitment to the Chamber. Henry.
Congratulations, Sandra. And now for our final Pinnacle Award recipient, Mr. James Parker from Power Financial Credit Union, one of our up-and-coming young leaders. Thank you, James, and congratulations on your Pinnacle Award.
Thank you very much, Henry. I remember 2.5 years ago when I started working at Power Financial, I was told the Pembroke Pines Miramar Chamber was a great resource that I had to become a part of. I didn't know what to expect on my first member breakfast. I envisioned a huge, intimidating building, discussions on politics, fancy fundraisers. Honestly, I wasn't sure that I would fit in, or I didn't know what to say or do. Luckily, what I ended up finding was actually a warm and welcoming group of business people, owners of businesses who cared about their community, worked hard to solve each other's problems, and really to make you feel at home. I fast forward to today, and I can honestly say that the Chamber has helped me not only to build stronger business relationships, but also to develop myself as a person. Jose Alvarado was the first Chamber member that I met. He's here today as well. He walked me around introducing me to other members. He got me into Toastmasters, which Jane is a part of as well, which really helped me to get the confidence to speak in front of an audience. I also attended a few Chamber classes from Robert Goltz that he held that taught us the right way to network. And all of those skills were needed to be put together because after a few meetings with Robert, we had been approved to start the one and only Lead the Way referral group. So we were very excited for that. I know that Robert, Alan, Patty, everyone in Chamber leadership is really here to be able to help support each other and to lift us up. So I may be a little bit biased, but the members of Lead the Way to me are second to none. I feel proud to be able to refer my friends, my family, customers who have issues they can't solve themselves to be able to find the solution with our group or just with a member of the Chamber in general. I know that they're going to be in good hands, and that makes me feel great. So I truly appreciate everything that the Chamber has done for me, leadership in the Chamber, and Lead the Way has done for my support. To be considered worthy of any recognition from a group as genuine as the Chamber is an honor that I never would have expected. I do look forward to building more relationships, more personal growth, and to contributing to a stronger business community. Now, one last thing, I would never want to walk away from an opportunity to mention that Lead the Way is here for you tomorrow from 7:30 to 9, and the information happens to be in your digital pamphlet. So it is there, and it's back to you, Henry. Thank you.
Congratulations, James. And as you can tell, James really is one of our up-and-coming leaders. When he came and started our new leads group, which I can't even count how many we had now. When I started as the chair, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, I think we had 3, and we've more than doubled that, getting close to tripled it. So thank you, James, for leading and starting a new group. Ismail, your turn.
Congratulations once again to all of our Pinnacle Award winners, and great job on the shameless plug. That's what this is about, so love it. Well done. But again, congrats and virtual applause to all of our Pinnacle Awards winners. Small businesses still create 3 out of 4 jobs in America and will be the engine that drives our economy back from COVID. These business owners embody the spirit of innovation, entrepreneurship, and individual initiative. Small businesses are the backbone of any community, and the Small Business of the Year Award pays tribute to the small business community and the outstanding examples of entrepreneurship found across the communities of Miramar and Pembroke Pines. This award recognizes not only the entrepreneurial spirit of ownership, but the hard work of employees, the success of a company, and the strength of its leadership. Companies that demonstrate excellence in business history and commitment to their customers, team members, and the community qualify to be considered to receive the Pinnacle Small Business Award. It is my privilege and pleasure to introduce this year's Small Business of the Year Award recipient, Mendez & Associates, owned by Barbara Mendez. Barbara.
Good afternoon. I'd like to start by saying I want to thank everyone that's part of the Chamber of Commerce, starting by Robert, who basically welcomes everyone, makes a difference, and truly makes it a family place for all businesses to succeed. I'd like to start by thanking my parents that believed in my dream of starting a business and gave me all the support that I needed to get to where I am today. But most importantly, by thanking my brother and my partner, which is truly the one that has taken the reins, as we say in horse racing, and led our business that I started in our home in Pembroke Pines and basically let it out to over 33 states that we are currently doing business in now. 17 years ago, I shared the insurance knowledge with him. And at that point, Al brought in his marketing experience and expertise. And that's been the combination of our business's success. Yes, we believe in luck. It's got to do with horse racing, our background. But hard work, dedication, first-class white glove service. That's what we open our doors to share with the public day in and day out. That's our recipe for success at Mendez & Associates. Again, thank you to all the Pembroke Pines officials. We insure many of them. They've supported me from the beginning that I opened my doors. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce. And thank you to Mayor Frank Bordas. He, like us, doesn't just live and do his business in Pembroke Pines. We do too. And that's what makes a difference. We're honored to live here and do business together in the city of Pembroke Pines. Thank you very much for awarding us. We truly are honored.
Congratulations, Barbara. Ishmael, do you want to say something?
Just say thank you and congratulations. So many people in this audience are small business owners or work for small businesses. So truly understand the hard work and commitment and dedication that it takes to make your business successful and a part of the community. So Barbara, the team at Mendez & Associates, keep it up. You're rock stars. Thank you. Henry?
Congratulations to Barbara. We don't always get to see Barbara too often in person because she's busy serving her clients, but I know she's been a very long-time chamber member and an active member of one of our original leads groups. So congratulations, Barbara. Say hi to Al and keep providing us excellent insurance rates. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry.
Okay, our next award, big business. Bigger businesses are very strategic in where they choose to plant their corporations. They understand that outreach and support through their local Chamber of Commerce is instrumental to the continued vitality of economic development of the community where they have chosen to locate. The Corporate Stewardship Award acknowledges the business that has met or exceeded the standards and expectations of that responsibility. This year's Corporate Stewardship Award goes to NBC6 and accepting on behalf of NBC6 is Susan Solano Villa. Susan? There she is. We need to unmute her. There we go.
Okay. Hi, everyone. And thank you so much to the Miramar Chamber and to everyone for this recognition to NBC6 WTVJ. WTVJ began its home in Miramar in 2000. So for 20 years, Miramar has been our home. WTVJ has a long legacy in our state. In 1949, WTVJ became the first television station in the state of Florida, and it was founded on three basic principles: a commitment to community, excellence in journalism, pioneering and innovation. And for more than 71 years, WTVJ has been committed to serving this ever-changing South Florida community by providing our viewers with the most relevant and practical news and information, especially in these times of critical need. As a legacy station, WTVJ hopes to continue making a difference by knowing, reflecting, and respecting the diversity of our community. Again, thank you all.
Congratulations to WTVJ NBC6, and thank you, Susan, for taking some time out to be here today. Everyone, next time you drive on I-75, make sure you wave to the building there in Miramar. Ishmael, back to you.
The Cosiano Community Service Award, founded by a board of directors in 2002, honors an individual who has contributed their leadership abilities to the overall good of the communities we serve here in Miramar and Pembroke Pines. Through their involvement in the chamber and our local communities have become healthier and more productive environment for businesses and our residents. This award was named after Mayor Vicky Cosiano, a former mayor of Miramar and leader extraordinaire in the local community and abroad. This year, the Cosiano Leadership Award is presented to Commissioner Alexander Davis with the City of Miramar. Commissioner Davis.
Thank you so much, Ishmael. I'd like to observe all protocols at this time and start off by thanking the Miramar Pembroke Pines Chamber for selecting me to receive this prestigious award. I've committed my adult life to public service, whether it be in Jamaica, where I worked for the Ministry of Agriculture, in the UK, where I worked for the Capital Taxes Office, or here in the US, where I worked for the Miami-Dade County government in departments of environmental resources, solid waste, and animal services. I decided back in 2010 to run for political office so that I could enact policy and legislate for a better Miramar. In 2019, after a 4-year hiatus, I returned to my role as a city commissioner, and I'm glad that during this time, I was able to be even more involved with the chamber. I took the opportunity to collaborate with Robert Goltz, the chamber's president and CEO, as well as our city's own economic and business development department, the Office of Business Inclusion and Diversity, sections of our police and fire departments, as well as SCORE, to introduce to Miramar small businesses our BizFit tours and workshops around the city. We went out to the various business complexes in the eastern section of Miramar, pitched our tents in the parking lots, and brought our services to them. As you can imagine, many of our mom and pop businesses who are unable to take time away from their establishments to attend workshops or other types of events were very pleased that we were right there with them and providing them well-needed resources. Each tour was followed up with an evening workshop, and both were well attended. The first set of tours took place towards the end of 2019, and we had plans to continue our tours through 2020 in central parts of the city as well as the western suburbs. But of course, we now know that COVID-19 had other plans for us. I was fortunate, however, in the early part of 2020 to participate in an international trade mission to Accra, Ghana in February. This was done in partnership with the U.S. Department of Commerce, Enterprise Florida, Broward County's Office of Economic and Small Business, as well as the city's Economic and Business Development Department. We had 2 Miramar residents who were part of the mission. One had a heavy-duty equipment exporter business, while the other had an African boutique store. There were other business owners from various parts of Florida that participated on this mission, where they were matched with various businesses in Ghana. The mission was a huge success, and testimonials revealed just that. I will endeavor to continue to advocate for small businesses, providing them with meaningful tools and resources they can use. This is especially needed during this time of the coronavirus pandemic. To this end, we've allocated $1 million to support an economic stimulus program for small businesses, 10 or fewer employees, who have been impacted by COVID-19. Businesses have been eligible to receive a grant of up to $10,000 to support their rent, utilities, and other bills. The Office of Business Inclusion and Diversity produced webinars such as Seeking Grant Opportunities Amidst COVID-19, Operating Your Business in the New Norm, Overcoming the Mental and Physical Stress of COVID-19. In addition, they've done several podcasts in topics of interest to small businesses, such as Marketing Your Business for Success, Business Foundation Planning for Success, Best Practices for a Successful Business. In addition to this, the Office of Marketing provides weekly updates on financial resources and rules for reopening. Finally, the city recently entered into a memorandum of understanding with Broward College for Broward Up. The Broward Up is Unlimited Potential program. This will provide higher education, certifications, and entrepreneurial support to our residents and business community. In closing, I'd like to thank our able staff and also the Chamber for working with me so that we could achieve these goals. I hope that 2020 we'll be able to work together for more basic involvement in our community, especially the business community. Thank you.
Congratulations, Commissioner Davis. And as you said at the beginning about public service, thank you for choosing to run for office and doing that. As you know, I know how hard that can be to do a campaign and put yourself out there, win or lose, and continuing to do that. So thank you for your public service in that role. Okay, Robert, thank you for scripting this so that I get to give this award, because this one's really special. And I will try to get through it probably better that it's virtual so I don't cry in person. Lifetime achievement. Well, not much explanation is needed there. Named in honor of the founder of the Chamber of Commerce, Ed Minaya, this award represents an individual that has literally spent a lifetime in service to the community, the Chamber, and a successful career, much like our founder. The Minaya Lifetime Achievement Award honors a person that has committed their span of life the cause of giving back and has exemplified the ideals of citizenship through continuing community service activities, promoting better business community relations, and contributing to the economic and social development objectives of Southwest Broward, specifically the Pembroke Pines and Miramar communities. This award, which was named after Ed Minaya, as I've said already, the founder of the Chamber, which opened in 1969. That's why we've had over 50 years of business success. I'm going to ad-lib this part. Many of you know Dr. Justice before she retired her role at Broward College. But I know Terry from the Chamber of Commerce. She's been there longer than I've been there and has always been there. And now I have some big shoes to fill as chair of the scholarship committee, which she has led successfully for many, many years and brought it up to a small annual event, to the big event that we've had up until last year. Obviously, our Gold Star breakfast didn't happen this year, but we were still able to do scholarships. But she really brought us up to the next level in recognizing the importance of education to our community, and worked tirelessly at breakfast and in raising money to help our deserving young students. Congratulations, Terry. I can't wait to see you in person. Dr. Justice. Your turn.
My turn?
Yep.
Okay. Does the picture change?
Nope.
No. Okay. We'll get there. Thank you, Henry. When Robert called, I was rather taken back at this nomination. I had attended many Pinnacle luncheons and have been amazed at the accomplishments of previous recipients. But I must admit that because of this recognition is exceptionally meaningful, especially coming from an organization where I have enjoyed the collegiality and friendship of so many for so long. Because of that, I want to talk a little bit about the power of relationships today. It's this chamber and many of my colleagues there that are probably the reason that I did not fail at retirement. I retired not because I was tired of working at the college, because those who know me know that working with students will always be my passion. Rather, because it was an opportunity I could not pass up, and that would afford me more time with my family and close friends. However, because of the chamber, I continued my consulting business and stayed busy on committees and projects. As a matter of fact, Robert was my teaching buddy for 3 years as we taught the Young Entrepreneur Program. We even had one of the national runner-ups in that program on our last year. The Chamber Scholarship Committee, as you mentioned, will always be very special to me and all the members that I had a privilege of working with. Interviewing students and hearing their stories was always amazing. I remember talking with one student who no longer wanted to merely go to space. Rather, his goal was to start a company dedicated to removing all the space junk that we had already left there. So many of these students we spoke with were also first in their family to go to college. What continues to amaze me is I too was one of those first generation students. But for me, that was 50 years ago. That hurts. So for a country that's supposed to educate all and educate them through high school for free, we need to remember even now that many students still need our help following their dreams. So when the scholarship committee is selling those raffle tickets or asking for donations, make that investment in a student's future, make that investment in our community. If Broward College had not existed, I may not have been able to go to college. And if it had not been for the Fort Lauderdale Women's Club scholarship for me that I'm sure my college professor made sure I received, I may not have finished college. I spent my last 35 years of my career working at Broward College in several administrative positions. But so often a single person can make a huge difference in your life. My friend Chuck had been at the college's personnel office not long after I had just finished my master's degree. I'd been job hunting and not too successful. He called and said that he had read a job posting that sounded just like the one that I was looking for, but that the ad closed that day and I had to get down there by 5 o'clock. Since it was before computer applications, I got up, got dressed, went downtown and filled out that paper application. And the rest is history. I often wonder what life would have been like had I not received that call. It's always been important to stop along the way and assess my career, as I'm sure most of you do. One of the ways I assessed mine was attending graduation. Rather than dressing in regalia and marching with the faculty and administration, I chose to volunteer to help the students get ready. I loved seeing their excitement and hearing their stories and playing "Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?" while we waited for their graduation procession to start. I also loved it when students returned for a visit to share their stories of success. I only wish I'd been able to keep track of them all. I want to share two quick stories, though, that I have. I was in my office one day and heard someone say, "Oh yes, she will see me." My first thought was, why didn't I leave work on time? But it turned out to be one of my past student assistants who had come back to let me know that although he had taken a few extra years to finish college, changing his major several times, he had persevered. And then he proudly handed me his business card. He was the campus fire marshal at the Georgia Institute for Technology. The other student is Karen Magnus, the Chamber's current representative for Broward College. Karen also started out as one of my student assistants and today is the South Campus Associate Dean for Academic Resources and Assessment. My old office is now her current office. I carry both of their business cards with me every day just to remind me what it was like to have students. Stories like this is why when I left the college, I established the Endowed Justice Memorial Scholarship for nursing students in honor of my parents. I jokingly told the president and the board of trustees that I was merely repaying the college for all the free food that I got after 35 years of breakfast and lunch meetings. In reality, I just wanted to pay it forward and say thanks to my parents. It's hard today not to recognize what is going on in the world. I wake up every morning realizing that I'm truly blessed and that being retired, I am luckier than most. But as others have mentioned today, we need to remember how fortunate we are to be associated with this chamber. Every day, Robert, the board, and this organization works hard for each of our businesses. But right now, with all the craziness that's going on, I would like each of you to recognize that this chamber is also a family, and that the people that make up this organization really care not only about you and your business, but especially about you as a person. I can hear Henry reminding us that if we need anything done or some type of service, that we need to look to a chamber member first. I also remember him asking coming into breakfast if Robert had already said something that he needed to know about. I can hear Mark reminding board members how important it was to attend ribbon cuttings so that we would properly be able to welcome our new members. I remember Isabella always volunteering centerpieces for the scholarship breakfast before I even had the opportunity to ask. Need help putting up hurricane shutters? If someone at the chamber hears about that, people will show up to help. Finally, right now, I can't even imagine what Leah Carpenter's life has been like for the last few months. We've all seen the TV on that's been praising the doctors and nurses, but I can guarantee that Leah has found a special way to sing the praises of everyone on our hospital staff, because that's just the type of person Leah is. I could go on and on all day about individuals in this chamber who have touched my life. My life has also been shaped by family and friends. I have an amazing brother and sister-in-law and 2 nieces who have wonderful husbands and 2 growing boys each who are growing up far too fast for me. They are the center of my world. Although we are scattered in multiple states, we all get together and FaceTime on Sundays. Likewise, I have a few cherished longtime friends. I've known Pam, my best friend, for over 40 years. She's the person who knows the good, the bad, and the ugly about me, but still puts up with my crazy old-fashioned ideas. My friend Anne has also been there whenever I needed her and has allowed me to be a part of her wonderful family. My friend and colleague Pat from the college probably saved me from being fired at least a couple of times over my 35 years. I cherish each of their friendships every day. As Thomas Jefferson said, friendship is precious, not only in the shade, but in the sunshine of life. These family and friends and my friends at the Chamber are the reason that the majority of my life has been in sunshine. So for today, thank you, Robert, Chamber Board, and all of my Chamber friends. This is a moment in time that I will always remember. Thank you, Henry.
Congratulations, Terry. A virtual hug to you.
Thank you.
Ismail?
Terry, sincere congratulations to you and thank you for all that you do. I think there's virtual applause from everyone in the audience. Still difficult when we're online, but we definitely want to send it to you. And thank you for your continued involvement, even after retirement, to being part of this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, I'm impressed we've gone this far without a Zoom bombing. This is actually a great day for all of us. But in all seriousness, congratulations to Terry and all of our award winners today. They are very special people and businesses that have contributed to the growth and strength of our communities. They have met challenges and have taken risks to help build and make a mark on those that they have come in contact with. The Miramar Pembroke Pines Regional Chamber of Commerce is better for their involvement and honored to be able to acknowledge their accomplishments. The Chamber would also like to once again thank our Pinnacle sponsors. Without them, we could not make this virtual event happen today. So thank you once again to Calvin Giordano and Associates, City of Miramar, and Waste Pro. And now, to help us bring this great event to a close, please welcome the President and CEO of the Miramar Pembroke Pines Regional Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Robert Golds.
Okay, thank you very much, folks. Wow, I gotta tell you, each one of these award winners, so special to our community and to me, and hopefully to you as you hear some of the things that are going on with them. One of the things that I want to encourage all of you, if you registered on the Zoom call, you would have got the online program, full color program with more information about every single one of these individuals and their accomplishments. And we'll have that out on our internet and on our social media going out today. And throughout this week, you're gonna see different pictures of each of these individuals on our social media, Facebook and Instagram. These are trying times, and I don't know how else to say it, that we're gonna make it through. We do. That's how we are built. And with that, I don't want to take a lot of time like I normally would. And I know what Henry and Ismail are behind the scenes thinking, going, oh my gosh, Robert's going to go for another half hour. No, I'm going to make it very simple. This past week, I had the luxury of reading a book. And it's called The Coffee Seed. And by John Gordon, in case anybody wants to referral it. And it talks about a situation about an education of a gentleman to a bunch of people in his life. And talking about the hard times that we are dealing with, that people deal with all the time. And those hard times are similar to a boiling pot of water. And they affect each one of us very differently. And that water, that hot water in there and that steam is the concerns that we have. COVID right now, Black Lives Matter, all these different things that are going on in our world that change our life in a different way. And so in the story, it talks about 3 different things. First, about carrots. And so when carrots are boiled, they get soft and weak, as many of us do. The next item was an egg. Eggs in hot water, what happens to them? They get hard. They get solid. And for some of us, that hard and solidness means that we get grouchy and irritable, and we start saying things just to say them. I know most of us have seen that in our society over these last couple months. And then if you throw just a small coffee bean in that same water, what happens to that coffee bean? That coffee bean boiled and continuing to boil over everything that's going on makes coffee. Doesn't have to be ground to make coffee, as much of us would believe, but that coffee bean will infuse into that water and change that water to coffee. And I want to encourage you as an individual to think of you that way. You don't have to be the carrot who gets weak. You don't have to be the egg who becomes hard and jaded. Be that coffee bean in our society to share the love, the knowledge, the passion that you bring to the table. Start putting away all the other things, those things that are boiling that water around us. And remember where you are and who you are. Because as I looked at the list of all the people that came in through Zoom and all of our speakers, the reason why they're being awarded and why they are great, and they truly are great, is because they are all coffee beans. They are all infusing their lives into the world around us, not letting the world infect them. With that, I want to close with this, that this chamber is here for you. Whether you're a member or not a member, we're about building strong communities by being a catalyst for our businesses, a convener of leaders, and being an organization that first and foremost takes care of our own in our community. It is my pleasure to be the president and CEO, your hired gun. And with that, I would just want to thank everybody who's on Facebook, on our Zoom Live, and all of our award winners. Thank you for being who you are, and thank you for continuing to move us in a positive direction in these times of uncertainty. With that, again, I'd like to thank our sponsors, the board of directors, and everyone out there for everything that you do. This has been the 24th Annual Pinnacle Awards and Installation of Officers for the Miramar Pembroke Pines Chamber of Commerce.
I think we're still on.
We are.